Welcome. This class is about cord cutting. So if you've never done it before and you'd like to learn how, jump on in. If you have done it before and you're ready to do it again, this class is for you as well. Come on and join me on the mat. Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. For this class, I want you to start laying down. So go ahead, make yourself comfortable, grab your props however you want them. And my intention in having you starting Shavasana-like is so you can really tap into the sensations in the body, noticing everything and anything, noticing nothing. If there's no sensations there, you're just being present. But then also allowing the mental body a chance to calm down, to let go. And give me a deep inhale through the nose, slow exhale through the mouth. Allowing your focus to stay with the breath. And using the breath as the perfect distraction at the moment to keep the mind present. Breathing into the heart space and letting go. And if you have noticed any part of the body that feels tense or stressed, I want you to breathe into that area of the body and then let go from there. And then another deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. Allow your hands to either come to rest over the heart or take them to Anjali Mudra in prayer pose. So we're pausing here to set our sankalpa, which is a Sanskrit word for intention. When you're done, you can simply allow the arms to drift back to the earth. Taking in a deep breath. And as you exhale, letting the body relax even more, letting it feel heavier. And so I want you to think about those times when the mind wants to stay somewhere that you don't really want to be, and you keep trying to draw it back to the present, and it keeps going somewhere else. And I want you to see that perhaps as an attachment. The mind is attached to something, and so it guides you back there, whether you want to go there or not, right? And then you use your skills to come back to the present, and the mind says, yeah, no, I'm attached to this, I'm going back. And so attachment is going to be a big part of our conversation today, because today I want to do some cord cutting. And cord cutting is releasing an energy attachment to someone or something or a situation. But to figure out what we're cutting, we need to have an awareness of what is taking our energy away from us. So if I said, okay, while you're lying here, peaceful, happy, relaxed, I want you to think of somebody who you love immensely, who gives you this boost of energy. Having them around, having them in your world is a positive. And you know this because when you're with them, perhaps you feel nourished, you feel relaxed, maybe content. Just conjure up that person for a moment and own those feelings. And I want you to notice as you think of this person that energy seems to flow easily throughout the body. And so if you were to envision the chakras from the root chakra up to the crown, you envision this person, you take a deep breath, and that breath moves easily from the root all the way up, and it exhales easily back down. Yeah. And so I would say to you, that's probably a pretty good indicator that that is a positive influence. So remember that attachments can bind us to people, but also emotions, situations, memories, things, ideas. Okay, so now if you were to conjure up somebody who stresses you out, doesn't mean you don't like them. It just means there's something about this person that makes you feel tense. I want you to see them in your mind's eye and go ahead and be present and aware of the feelings and sensations that occur in your body as a result. Now, noticing where you feel sensation in your body. Does it make sense that taking another deep breath from the root chakra to the crown might not flow as easily? It might feel, in fact, like it gets stuck somewhere. And often where it gets stuck, it might feel like the solar plexus. Like, when you get that pit in your stomach, or that same person or memory or idea or thing, it just seems to put knots right in the stomach, yeah? And so it might feel like the energy gets stuck there. Where else might it typically feel stuck? What about the heart? Yeah, if we're hanging on to these negative ties with people from our past, that might feel like the energy cannot flow through the heart chakra and make its way up to the throat where we're able to express all that, right? So these chords, these etheric chords, they can be positive. They can also be negative. And I need you to be able to determine which they are. So you have to pay attention. Do those body scans. Tap into, do I feel encouragement, acknowledgement, excitement with this person, place, or thing? Do I feel oppressed, angry, jealous? And that way you can start to differentiate between this is a negative chord, this is a positive chord. The same person can offer both. The same memory can offer both. So we're not trying to delete the entire memory. We're not trying to delete necessarily the entire person. We are setting that sankalpa to retain the positive and say it is time for me to release the negative so that I can move forward and evolve. So that is what we're working on today. All right, give me a deep inhale. Loud exhale. Let it all go. All right, I don't know what props you grabbed, so you might have to do a little bit of rearranging, but I would love for you to hug the knees into the heart right here. And then place one hand on each knee. As you inhale, push the knees into the hands to straighten out the arms. Exhale, pull the legs in toward the ribs. Inhale, arms straighten. Exhale, pull the thighs toward the ribs. Now slow this down. Elongate the breath as much as possible for you. And then the next time the knees are in, go ahead and hug them again. So one of the things I want you to notice when we are paying attention to the movement connecting to the breath is as you work on the breath control, you might find you're doing less repetitions. So we're trying to lengthen out the inhale, lengthen out the exhale. And that takes practice, right? Okay, so hugging those knees in. Go ahead, take a deep breath. And as you exhale, lift the head and shoulders, get curled up into a tight ball. Feel the legs pushing the air out. And then inhale, release the shoulders and head back down. Give me a couple more. All right, I'll wait for a second here for you to have the head and shoulders back down on the earth. When you're ready, let's set that left foot down on the mat. We'll keep the knee bent. And take your fingers to the bottom of the right foot. You might want your strap here instead. And then we're going to slowly stretch this leg up. So I don't care if the leg doesn't straighten, so you shouldn't either. Don't be attached to that. It's up to you. If it's going to be easier, grab the strap, deepen the breath. Stay here for the inhale. Exhale. Lift the head and shoulders, draw that leg in. Inhale, release the shoulders and head back down. One more. And then go ahead and set that right foot down, draw the left leg in, same thing. Fingers on the bottom of the foot or use your strap. Just pause here, deepen the breath. Inhale. Exhale, lift the head and shoulders, pull the leg in closer. Inhale, release. One more. And then go ahead and set that left foot down, turn to a side in a fetal position and hang out right there. Focus on the breath. And then I'll have you slowly make your way back up. So let's come into either easy pose, Sukhasana, or Siddhasana with the ankles lined up. And just close your eyes. Bring your focus into the body. I want you to notice where the shoulders are in relationship to the hips. In other words, you might need to pull back or lean forward to get those shoulders right over the hips. So I want you to be cognizant of all these little nuances. Are you sitting up tall? Is the neck in line with the rest of the spine? So is the head jutted forward? Do you need to pull it back? Are you equally as rooted through the sit bones as the crown is extending up towards the sky? So I want you to take your focus down into the root chakra. Inhale all the way up the spine to the crown. Exhale back down. And can you visualize the spine as you're doing that? Continue to visualize the spine, but I want you to add in the 7 chakras. You can just kind of see them as, just put a little circle there or a dot, right? You don't have to know exactly where they are, but essentially you have base of the spine, below the navel, above the navel, behind the heart, the throat, third eye, which is between the eyebrows, and crown chakra. So see that and take your breath through each one of those circles or dots or lights, however you're envisioning that. Hopefully, it's a very easy inhale, and you can see that the breath slides right up that spine you're envisioning, moves through each of those energy points. And then same thing coming back down. What I want you to envision next is 3, well, they're called nadis, but they're lines of energy. You're going to envision them also next to the spine on your back. One is running up with the spine. The other 2 branch off, but then they go around a chakra and they curve and they cross over to the other side, and then they move up until they get around the next chakra. So they kind of snake their way up. And they're going to end up coming through the nose and up towards the third eye. I want you to stay with the breath and envision the breath moving as easily up the spine and through the chakra energy points as it does through those 3 nadis, the Sushumna, Ida, and Pingala. And so my intention in having you do this is hopefully you're noticing that the breath is moving quite easily up and back down. That's what our energy is supposed to do through the chakras. It's supposed to move that easily up and down. However, we do get blockages in those energy centers, and these negative attachments we have will also create blockages. And so the energy gets stuck in places, and that is what we're trying to alleviate. All right, inhale, take the arms all the way up. Exhale the hands to the heart. Release the hands to the earth in front of you. Walk your way out into a fold, wherever that might be. And then from here, we're pulling ourselves up into table, hands and knees. Take your time getting there. When you're ready, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Cat-cow is one of the best vinyasas you can do for helping the back out, for engaging the pelvic floor. Come on back to table. Let's take the left leg, stretch it out behind us parallel to the earth. Lengthen out. Make sure you're not lifting that back leg higher than parallel. I don't want to be any pinching in the low back. Breathe here. Set that knee down, switch to the other side. This is an active pose. We haven't given in, we haven't caved in, we're not sinking. We are actively pushing the earth away and lengthening from the crown to the bottom of the right foot. Inhale. Exhale, bring the knee back down, tuck the toes. Very slowly take it to downward facing dog. Walk this out for sure. Inhale. Exhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. So heading toward crouching dog. Slow inhale, go back to where you started. Exhale, crouching dog. Take this slow. Inhale, back to dog. Last one. Go back to dog. Walk the hands backwards towards your feet. You'll be in forward fold, Uttanasana. I would love for you to add a little bit of movement here. The movement doesn't necessarily have to be with the upper body either. It could be shifting the weight backwards into the heels and then bringing it forward into the toes. Make sure you're hanging on to the earth when you do that. And then when you're ready, let's take this to monkey, Ardha Uttanasana. Deepen the breath. Let it go. And then we're slowly coming back down to the ground, however you want to get there. We are going to set up for a supported child's pose. Again, you can use whatever props make you happy. I'm thinking here. I think what I'm going to do is use my bolster, but I'm going to take my blanket. Oh, it's kind of a light blanket, but I'm going to rest it on my low back for just a very subtle weight, pushing the hips down toward the heels. When you're comfortable, close your eyes. So one of the things I wanted to talk about with cord cutting, you know, if you Google cord cutting, you're going to come up with a lot of different opinions. And I'll try to give you both, or not both, but multiple sides. But some sites you go to are going to say you only need to cut a cord once with somebody. But I've been on other sites where people say, oh no, you're going to have to do it multiple times. Yeah, I want you to allow this to resonate with you. So you do whatever feels right to you, recognizing that a lot of what out there is opinion, and maybe half of what I'm saying is opinion too. So want you to pay attention to what feels right to you. If we're going to cord cut because we feel this negative attachment to someone or something, some sites will tell you that you can take care of this in minutes. And other sites are going to tell you, you know, this process really only works if you actually think through the negativity and the life lesson there and acknowledge it before you cut the cord. I'm kind of in the middle. So again, I want you to take away what works for you. I think that if you need a quick cord cutting, nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and do it. I also think that there's a reason we've crossed paths with everyone we have. And so there is some life lesson there. And if you have suppressed something regarding whatever you've decided to cut, it might be in your best interest to work through some of that. I'm just going to leave that out there for you. Go ahead and turn your head to the other side in child's pose if you haven't already. So there's this other interesting idea out there in the internet world. And again, if you like this idea, run with it. If you don't, no harm, no foul. It's this idea that sometimes the positive cords also need to be cut back too. And the analogy would be like, and I don't have a green thumb, so this is a really poor analogy for me, but I am aware that certain plants need to be cut back. I'm not good at that. I feel like I'm doing detriment, but I know you're supposed to cut certain plants back. The shoots that you're cutting back, and maybe some of the flowers you're taking off, are positives, but there's an added benefit to letting the plant nurture itself more, right? Rather than extending it out into every single shoot and flower. You could look at positive cords the same way, that maybe some of them could use a little bit of thinning out. That is totally up to you. If that makes sense to you and you really like cord cutting and the meditational part about it, then that might be something you want to consider as well too. All right, give me a deep breath. Let it go. Let's slowly push our weight into our hands. Just coming up carefully, consciously, being present, just pausing for a moment once the arms get straight. When you're ready, you'll make your way up the rest of the way. All right, I'm going to set this bolster aside, or whatever you were using, go ahead and set it aside. Let's come back to table. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Come back to table. Let's tuck the toes. Take this to dog again. Walk it out for a moment. All right. Let's walk the feet closer to each other so they're right next to each other, actually. Option A, you can stay right here. Option B, shift your weight into the right foot, and let's just lift that left leg out behind us just a little bit in a one-legged dog. So do not take that left leg high enough that it starts to open up the left hip. So toes should be facing down. This leg doesn't have to lift very far. Keep pushing the hips back. Give me a deep inhale. Exhale that leg down. Let's try the other side. When you're ready, release the leg. Bring the knees slowly back to the earth. Grab a block or your blanket or something for your head to rest on. And I just want to push back and come into embryo, but I want the forehead to have something peaceful to end up on. And then with your forehead resting on a prop, it should be pretty easy to take your focus to Ajna, the third eye chakra, right between the eyebrows. And so from that place, I would like you to direct the breath. All right. Option A, stay right there. Option B is going to take you upside down. We're nothing crazy here. We're just going to rabbit, but your head will be below your heart. So if you don't like being upside down, you don't like the feel of blood rushing into your head, or you have blood pressure concerns, you might want to just stay right here and wait. If you do want to go to rabbit, move that prop aside. And then set the forehead, the upper part of the forehead, on your mat. So as you lift your hips, you can roll off of the forehead onto the very flat part of the head. You should not be on your forehead in rabbit pose. And then I leave it up to you if you want to leave the arms down or hands down on the mat. If you want to reach back for the heels, rounding out through the shoulder blades, or if you want to take the arms into yoga mudra above you, which is a drawing in of the shoulder blades. One more breath. As you exhale, slowly release back down into embryo or child's pose. And then when you're ready, you'll plant the hands on the mat and very slowly, like I mean about 3 or 4 breaths, slowly make your way back up. Okay. If you want to, I don't know what kind of surface you're on, you might want your blanket across your mat for your knees. Totally up to you. Otherwise, come back to table. We're going to take the right foot and bring it forward between the hands. The knee should be right over the ankle. And then once you have your balance here, let's go ahead and bring the hands up onto that front thigh. If you don't feel like you can get your balance, you can stay here or add your blocks if you want to. So here we're in half warrior A. We're going to reach the arms all the way up. Big inhale. Exhale the hands back to the heart. So from here, I'm going to turn, I think I'm going to angle this way a little bit. You can either, well, you can stay right here. So we'll make this option A. Option B, turn the heart toward the right, pulling back that right shoulder. Option C, take the left elbow outside of that right thigh to get into the twist first, and then pull back the shoulder so the hands end up at the heart. And maybe you can look behind you. So totally up to you. You could be in, any one of us could be in quite a few variations right here. Make sure it's right for you. Give me a couple more breaths. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly release that twist. You can release the arms. We're going to change this to half warrior B. So I'm pivoting on that bottom knee to take the foot straight out behind me. And then you'll notice that the hips open up here. So the hips are now squared to probably the long edge of your mat. And then we're going to take the right forearm, rest it on the right thigh. We're still lengthening. Inhale that left arm up and then let it reach overhead. Draw that left shoulder back and deepen the breath. On your next inhale, bring the left arm up. Exhale, come back to center. And then we can take this to a little reverse warrior. So keep that left arm down alongside the leg. Inhale the right arm up. And we'll just take this to the other side. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, release the arm. So from here, I'm just going to take this into gate. So that right leg, I'm going to straighten it out, but turn the toes to face the direction I'm looking. Foot's flat on the earth. And then I'm just going to bring my hands down to the ground. And when you're ready, just slowly inhale that right arm straight up. We're going to pause here for 3 breaths. If you want to just stay right here, that's fine. And if you feel like, no, I need more, you can start to pull that right shoulder behind you and try to turn the heart toward the sky. And when you're ready, you'll slowly bring that right arm down, pull that right knee in, and then you can kind of walk your way back to facing forward on your mat. Back to table. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Neutral spine, left foot's coming forward. Remember, the knee is right over the ankle. When you're ready, find your balance. Bring your hands to rest on that left thigh. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, the hands to the heart. This was option A. Option B was pull that left shoulder back, take an upper body twist to the left. Option C was right elbow to the outside of that left leg and then open this up. When you get to an exhale, gently release. Drop the arms. Pivot on the right knee by bringing the foot right behind you. The hips are going to square, face the direction you're facing. Left forearm to the left thigh, but again, lengthen the sides of the body. Inhale the right arm up, take that side bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, release the right arm. And then the arms are switching for our little reverse warrior. So right hand against the leg. Inhale the left arm up and just a subtle side bend here. Come back to center. Release that left arm. I'm going to have to turn around here. take that left leg into gate pose, so straighten the leg, but then turn the toes to face the direction you're looking. Again, the sole is flat on the earth. Hands come down to the ground. When you're ready, you'll inhale that left arm up and or behind you. When you get to an exhale, bring that left hand back down, slide the left knee in, turn back to the front of your mat, and let's take this to child's pose for a moment. All right, give me one more deep breath. Let it go. And then slowly walk your way back up. Let's find something restorative, shall we? So grab your bolster when you're ready. I'm going to take it out behind me vertically, but I'm going to prop up the far end with a block. If you have one, you don't have to. Go ahead and sit back so the sacrum touches the bolster. I kind of feel like I want my blanket, but maybe that's just because it's kind of chilly down here. So go ahead and straighten out the legs. You can use your blanket if you want to. And then slowly release the spine down. Soften the shoulders so they just drape over the edges of the bolster. And close your eyes. All right, so as we get closer to actually working our way through cord cutting, I want you to start thinking about what it is you want to release. What do you want to detach from, or who? So let's go ahead and get something in mind. And then if you want to, pause for a moment to think about what is the lesson here. Why is there negativity associated with person, place, thing, situation, idea? What is the takeaway? If you don't want to focus on that, just stay present with your breath. Everybody can kind of do this individually. All right, so keeping your eyes closed. This is how I like to do a cord cutting. So any changes you want to incorporate, I'm right there with you. I back you up. Go ahead and take your hands to rest on your abdomen. And so the idea of these energy cords is that we have an attachment, a cord connecting us to essentially everything like a memory, idea, situation, everyone who's crossed our path. And frankly, many of these energy cords are attached to people from way back in our past that we've never gone back and released. So I like to envision all of these energy cords coming in and out from the navel. And I take my hands to the navel as if I'm holding a whole bunch of cords. This might take some sorting through, right? Kind of like, do you have a junk drawer where there's all sorts of cords that are tangled, and maybe you've got like, I don't know, new shoelaces in there, and that's all become tangled, or oh my gosh, or a jewelry drawer where all the chains are mixed in with each other. That's what I'm kind of envisioning. And so it's kind of going through them with my fingers to untangle them. And I'm separating out the ones that are positive until I've got the ones that are negative. And now I'm searching specifically, I'm feeling for the one that is attached to what I have in my mind that I want to let go of, right? So for me, I imagine right now that I am holding a pretty heavy cord. It's thick and it has a lot of negative connotations attached to it. Sorry if you can hear the dogs barking upstairs. Obviously, they're cord cutting as well. I need you to think about what you can use to cut that cord. So could you envision a really beautiful blinged out pair of scissors? Yeah, that might work for some of the thinner cords, right? But if you're feeling a struggle inside, like those scissors are never cutting through this, go big. So envision something else. Is it a fancy sword? Is it a laser? I don't know. You decide. That's the beauty of this. You get to decide. Now, before you do anything, I want you to set that sankalpa. Set an intention as to what you're actually doing. So my intention is to release the negativity that's attached to this cord. I am not releasing the positive experiences. I'm going to retain those, but I am recognizing that I no longer want to hold on to somebody else's negativity. They can have it back, right? It's kind of like, do you accept a gift you don't want? That's up to you. So when I feel like I'm ready, I go ahead and see myself cutting through the cord. And then I envision it reeling away from me super fast, like it's just being coiled back into the person that owns it. And then to me, the next step is really important. So don't do anything yet, but let me just say all this first. That next step is about filling the space that's now left behind. And we want to fill it with love and light and healing and good energy and possibility. Yeah. So once you cut your cord, I want you then to replace your hands on your abdomen and imagine you have all this beautiful energy emitting from your hands into that space. Okay? So I am going to be quiet. Hopefully the dogs will too, so that you can go ahead and release what it is you want to release today, and then fill that space with love and light. do want to point out that it's normal for this to elicit emotion. It's a letting go. And I want you to acknowledge the feelings and emotions without pushing them away. If you feel like you want to cry, you go ahead and cry. We're honoring that letting go. We're honoring the gift we just gave ourselves in not owning someone's negativity anymore or something's negativity. And when you feel like you've acknowledged that, I want you to redirect to all of the possibilities that are now before you, the new energy cord that you're going to form with someone or something that's going to offer happiness. Give me a deep inhale and let go. So what I want to do next is draw a couple of oracle cards that will pertain to what you let go of and help you move forward. And I'm going to give you those words or cards as you head into Shavasana. So you go ahead and recreate your space for Shavasana. If you're happy where you are, stay right there. Well, I go ahead and I'm going to shuffle up this deck. And I'm going to choose 3 cards. So as you're getting settled, I want you to really allow one of those numbers, 1, 2, or 3, to come forward in your mind, because that will be your card. Okay. Yeah, hung up there on the second card. Wanted to go a few different ways. Okay, so have that number in your mind. 1, 2, or 3. So card number 1 says dare to be happy. How appropriate is that? If you can dare to be happy, then you know you have the ability to cut these cords. I know they're hard sometimes. You're not dismissing the good memories with somebody or something. You are standing up for yourself. It is a form of self-care and self-love to say, I don't need the negativity anymore. Dare to be happy. This person is riding on someone's shoulders. Arms are thrown wide open and back. That's giving the heart space to move forward into those possibilities that we talked about. All right, if your card was number 2, don't sweat the small stuff. Are you worried that if you cord cut, the other person's going to know? I'm not worried about that. If they gave you the negative stuff in the first place, I'm more than happy to let them have it back. They can do whatever they want with it. They can cord cut from it too. Don't sweat the small stuff. You're moving forward from a place of love and from your heart, right? This picture has a really cute bear on it. He's laying down. His head is resting on his paws. And there's a little teeny mouse sitting on his head. And it looks like it's eating a berry of some type. It's enjoying the sweetness of life. In Sanskrit, that's rasa. All right, if you chose card number 3, yeah, this is appropriate too. Give yourself the best. And the best that you can give yourself is that self-love and allowing yourself permission to release negativity. So in this picture, there is a woman with a very fancy headpiece on, and she's in front of this huge, it's a cake, but it looks like it might have a lot of fruit on it, which to me is implying nurturing and maybe healthy ways. All right, whatever your card was, I leave you with that thought as you head off into Shavasana, and you'll hear my voice when it's time to come back. Begin to bring your focus back to your breath. Allowing that breath to deepen. If you'd like, you can bring some movement back into the body. Breathing in and out from that heart. Feeling that energy center as open and clear. A deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And allowing your hands to rest at your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. When I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.